This is Hangout Conversations with Matt Rappaport, live from New York, Minnesota, and Idaho. This is our show. Da 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 da. It's time to wait a second. That's not my song. Oh, the Muppets! I love the Muppets. Welcome to another exciting edition of Hangout Conversations. My name is Matt Rappaport. Welcome to the show. Good to see you here on episode numero 11, because that's how you say 11 in Spanish, 11 with two fingers. It's good to have you here. Welcome back to another exciting edition. How was your Thanksgiving? I hope your Thanksgiving was awesome. Mine was good. It was a lot of food, and I couldn't walk for a couple of days right afterwards, actually. I hope you had some pumpkin pie. I love myself some pumpkin. Liza Sperling and Aramin Omir know about my love for pumpkin. I reshared Zagat's pumpkin pie pancake recipe. So, yeah, pumpkin pie in a pancake. How awesome is that? This is an exciting show. We have an action-packed show for you today. I mean, we have Byron Aldridge is coming up. We have a lot of guests coming up. Bobbi Jo Woods, my number 2, is here. I can't believe it. 11 shows. It's the 1st of December. Who knew that this would happen? I did. No, I had no idea. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. I know we have a lot of cool people in the chat room. Bobbi Jo wants to say hi. There she is, Bobbi Jo. We've had such a great ride so far. It's been an awesome experience. And I'd like to thank everyone watching live, watching on YouTube, all the different viewing areas. We're now on iTunes. We're on Blip TV. We plan to be all over the place. And it's an honor to broadcast the show and have you, the viewers, watching, have such amazing people that we're meeting in these Hangouts. Lots of changes, lots of things going on. Let me take a look at my notes. As you can see, I am totally shaved. The month of November is over, and I am clean shaven. But we do have mustaches still in the standard Hangouts, which I believe you'll see on Conversations Plus. We have a lot of different mustaches to play with, and they're not going anywhere, which is really good of Google to keep those mustaches going, because they're fun, they're icebreakers, and let's face it, women look hot in French mustaches. It's a proven fact. What else? Some people are saying that December is Decembeard. I'm not sure if I'm buying Decembeard. I feel like November played out the hair thing. If you're growing a beard, good luck to you. If you're a woman growing a beard, good luck to your husband. If you're married. And what else? New Google Bar. Google Bar is here for some of you. Really weird. I had the new Google Bar last night, and I woke up to having the old Google Bar. And all it basically is taking everything Google-related, YouTube, and Blogger, and everything related, and moving it to a little drop-down on Google+. Now, what's weird for me is when I had it, I'm used to clicking on the Google+, like Word Google Plus, to open a new Google Plus page, and you cannot do that with the new bar. You have to actually click the little home button, which I never like clicking on, so it's just smaller. So that's something new that was kind of annoying, but not that big a deal. And then there's a little share button in the corner where you can share things, whether you're on Gmail or anywhere else. You click on that button and you say, hey, I have a thought, like a status update or something. Or I don't know, or unless you really want to type in the corner up there, like, I have lots to say to you. It's interesting, just more places where you can access YouTube and Blogger. Instead of one place, there's like 5 places now, so that's interesting. Circle sharing. They've changed circle sharing a little bit, so when you go to post, it doesn't remember your last 3 choices, but it does remember like your last choice. So now it's like if you posted to like 50 circles, you're kind of like, oh, click X, and I know that Circle Management has a new option where you can actually clear all of that, but for a reshare, you're kind of crap out of luck. So that's kind of annoying, especially for pages, to have to go through and clear all that, but hopefully that will change. What else? The searches, there's limits, and I'm going to talk to my guest Brian Aldridge about the limits going on, and there isn't an API, so some extensions use U+ search more than you know, and I guess if it uses it too much, there is a daily limit or some kind of limit where you can no longer use the search, which is a little annoying. And also, I know plus Jake McQuistion, I can't say his name right, maybe that's my talent saying names wrong, like Costanza. He discovered that there's a limit on how many people you can add to circles, which seems like a new thing as well. And the big thing that seems to be pretty hot that people are talking about, McQuiston, Bobbi Jo for the win says McQuiston, or is making fun of me because that's how I said it. But I enjoy saying McQuiston. Is it McQuiston? I don't know. We we have a segment on every show where I try to figure out a guy of you, Matthew, please have sexy with me. Robert Pitt, I can talk to you after the show and see if we can work something out. All I need is a cut of your canopy, and maybe in the right state we can get married under a canopy, and it still doesn't mean that either of us are not heterosexual. Just saying. Just putting it out there. So now that we've outed Robert Pitt, because that he's a lover of canopies, this pay it forward circle sharing idea. So a lot of people are sharing these circles with this pay it forward idea, like they're in a Kevin Spacey, Haley Joel Osment movie with no Helen Hunt. I don't know how I feel about it. It's cool to share people that you like. It's cool to share awesome people that you enjoy. But when you make it about getting more followers, and that's the goal, and getting people to add people, to add people, to add people, and every post is paid forward, paid forward, paid forward, and it looks kind of a little spammy. It looks like a bunch of junk mail going through your stream. It's a little unnerving, and I think that it's cooler for people to find you in well put together circles. Take your pay it forward circles and say, these are my awesome people, and these are people that I really love. That to me is a better post than saying, here's paid forward, here's how it works. To me, it's a little bit like follow backs on Twitter and things of that nature. So I'm for sharing people you like. I'm just not for this whole movement. So, yeah, Robert Pitt says he said sexy and not sex. Is there a difference? Why is the answer between that? And Bobby Joe is keeping me informed of all things. I'm not as psychic as you think. So, yeah, shared circles, if you're going to do it, try to do it in a way that's not so, like, in your face, pay it forward. It's not like you're changing a guy's tires and he's coming and giving you like a bailout or something. It's not that kind of pay it forward. But I think I've stalled a little bit too long because our guest is all the way in Idaho. We actually went all the way to Boise. I like to say the Z. He has issues with me saying Boise, Idaho. It's home of the potato. I believe you get some sour cream, some bacon on that potato, which is very nice. But you got AstroTurf there. I never knew that Idaho was home of the blue AstroTurf, but that's a new thing for me. He's got a love for hockey, mustaches, dogs, cheese, Google Plus, cheese. He likes singing, although will he do it on my show? I don't know. And did I mention he likes cheese? He's on the Hangout Canopy team. No, BJ, not the Hangout Canopy sausage team. Yes, BJ likes to say that. He is the one, he's the only, he's the awesome Brian Aldridge, who says, welcome to Hangout Conversations, Mr. Brian Aldridge. How are you, sir? I cannot hear you. You must unmute yourself. I did not mute you. It was not Bobby Joe.
Hello, Matthew. Thank you for having me on the show.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Welcome. How are you? I hope that intro was suited.
Right.
I don't know if I mentioned that
Can you hear
enjoy
me?
Cheese. I can hear you.
I'm doing very well.
Cool. Is there a delay? Huh.
Yes.
See. That's not good. Might be because I'm
Yes.
recording.
Very good. I do enjoy cheese.
Is there a delay?
I think there is.
Yes? Okay. Anthony Foster real quick says that the only thing he doesn't like about shared circles
I
is
think a little bit.
he has to go through and find all the porn people and block them. Well, if you don't like porn, yeah, I guess you can do that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many people are sharing circles with porn people. Have you found, I know that's not the first question I was going to ask you, but since Anthony Foster is watching live, do you find that people are sharing porn circles? I didn't get that feeling. Do you get that feeling?
No, I find weird porn people following me, and so
Right.
sometimes I say, hey, Robert, check this profile. Just start following me now. It's weird.
Robert laughs out loud. Robert did.
Yeah, but no, I
don't like the pun. That was like.
I haven't had any of those try to follow me though. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So, but I think it's just certain circles of people that's what they look for. I'm
Right.
sure we can think of some people that would love porn circles, but I don't think that that's something that we really run into, or maybe at least not I.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, I think there's a place and a time for porn. I think that, if you are going to access your G Plus at work, porn is probably not a good idea. But if you don't
Yeah.
do that, then, anyone can produce something that's considered porn or obscene or demeaning at any time. What people
I think that's been kind of the battle about on Google Plus is what is porn, what is art, what is photography,
Right. What is offensive?
artistic vision.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we went through that whole when they started blocking things that some people are saying this is my art.
Yeah.
That kind of brought a little controversy to Google Plus, and I think that it seems like that's kind of simmered down, and I think a lot of people realize, well, if I don't like what that person's posting, I can just uncircle them, and that deals with it. But I think it was initially, I like hanging out with this person and talking to them on a Hangout, and then all of a sudden they, start posting these pictures that they don't appreciate, but then they feel bad about encircling them. I think that was kind of the initial, what caused some people to be uncomfortable.
I think the easy solution, to us it's an easy solution, is to change your mainstream to say, I want people circled, but I only want these people to be in the mainstream. I only want to read these people, see their posts. These other people I want to hang out with and circle them, but I don't really want to see their posts. And I think that, I know there was a filter extension, but that's probably what G Plus is probably working on, I would guess.
Yeah, I would think that for the ability to say, okay, I want to have, because sometimes things from what hot get mixed in, you don't really have true control over your stream. But I think if you could say, well, here's the things that I want to see just on my wall in general, because there's some people that I probably don't really care for their content, but I enjoy their hangouts. And so, do I really need to see?
Don't feel bad.
Do I really want to see their, do I really want to see all of their content that they're posting when that's not, some of it to me may be offensive. I think that if you could sit there and change it so, okay, these circles are going to be what's in my mainstream, and then I can go and look at these other ones separately, kind of like what they do with, here's circles that other people can see that I have, and how you can kind of change those and see what circles other people see of yours. I think they should do the same thing with, here's the streams that I want to see by default.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think that they're probably working on something like that. I know there's like a plus minus extension that kind of does that. I haven't really played with it much.
Yeah.
The extension, Anyway, so random questions, and talking about porn, I'm getting to innuendo. We do random questions. I know we got a little off base there, but so pick a number, 1, 2, 3, or 4. As you can see, I use
Can I take the yellow one?
The yellow one. All right, you can call it yellow. All right, so we do. This is actually apropos this question. For $1 million and everything that the government has left in their banks, what is your favorite cheese of all time, and is there a fun cheese story or food or weird cheese you'd like to try, or combination of cheese that's probably inspired by Joseph Lee, since he posts all the food posts. But so tell us about cheese.
All right, so my favorite cheese is the Tillamook Extra Sharp. I don't know if you guys ever had. Tillamook is kind of a local in the Northwest type of cheese, but they have a sharp and they have an extra sharp. I usually
I am freezing
around here, but sometimes my girlfriend will treat me to the extra sharp, and it's delicious. It comes in a black package. It's the best, some of the best cheese you can ever have. So if you're ever going to go to the store, they sell them in Walmarts around here even, but you can go and get yourself some extra sharp Tillamook.
You just not mention that on my show. No, I'm just kidding. So extra sharp, huh? What extra sharp?
Yeah, extra sharp's really good.
Is it like cheddar? What do we mean?
Yeah, it's a cheddar. Now there is for a lot of people that aren't used to sharper cheese, they might have a problem with it. Bobby just says that Costco has the 2-pound block if you want to go get yourself some.
Could you actually physically eat the 2-pound block by yourself in one sitting or one day, or?
No, not in one sitting. Okay, so she's talking about the block that's like this big, but that's not Tillamook, but it is an extra sharp cheddar cheese, and it's not quite the same. A lot of people get used to, they get used to a milder sharp cheddar cheese. If you get the true like sharp, high quality cheddar cheese, it tastes like, it's hard to explain. I guess sharper.
Right.
And so if you taste an extra sharp, to you it tastes funny at first until you get used to it, and then you really appreciate the taste.
Yeah, I was going to say to Bobby Joe, no, I wasn't serious about eating a whole block of 2-pound cheese in one sitting, but I bet you if anyone could do it, the guy in Man vs. Food probably could do it, but I wouldn't want to be anywhere near him.
I could eat probably 1 pound. I think 1 pound would be my limit.
Feel like you wouldn't be able to move, right?
Nah, not me. We've had this conversation.
Brian could do. We've had it, but now we haven't had it on air. We haven't had this conversation.
I can eat anything and I'll be fine.
Anything, yeah, great. That makes me feel you eat spicy food, all kinds of foods, crazy foods. What about, so is there any kind of like crazy cheese, big thing of cheese or fromage or crock pot or some kind of fondue, some kind of like crazy kind of big cheese you've seen that you want to try somewhere? Is it up by Idaho? Is there like some kind of cheese challenge or?
No, okay, well, but one thing I do like around here, they have fondue places.
Yeah.
I don't know where they have just all the different types of cheese. We have a really nice one of those around here, but you take it there. Here it's $100 for two, which in Idaho is expensive. Maybe
Right.
in New York
In
that's
New
not
York,
that much.
that's like, that's
It's like it's $100, but here
like
you
better
can
than
go and eat.
$500 there.
Yeah, here you can go and have a nice dinner for $25 for two people, right? And there's a big difference in the economy, but you can go there and they have excellent cheeses. You can dip vegetables and fruit and all this ridiculous stuff, and it's really good. And you can pick whether you have cheddar and all the different kinds, so it's not just one type. So that's probably when I like to treat my girlfriend. We go there and it's delicious.
What's the name of the? Did you say the name of the restaurant?
It's called Mona Lisa's. Yeah, it's a local place though. It's locally
Mona
owned.
Lisa.
Mona Lisa's. Yeah, it's probably the nicest fondue place in Idaho.
How many fondue places would you, if you had to stretch? Would you say there's a lot? I mean,
Well, we have two in Boise, and then one in Nampa. So we've got three in our local little area here that I know of. I mean, there may be some more that I'm not aware of, but those are the three that I've tried.
so I mean, Idaho is not. I mean, I would have to say, I think you're the first person I've ever talked to and met from Idaho. I'm sure there are other people I didn't know about, but have you I mean, there's people from all over the place, but would you say you've actually encountered people from Idaho besides yourself?
I've encountered a very few people. One person comes into Hangouts that I've met, and he's just in the last month or so has started hanging out that I've run into him. But other than that, I've seen some people on the streams here and there.
And on your phone, have you seen nearby anybody on that? Or
yeah, I've looked at that, and I don't know any of those people.
you don't
people
know
that post
but
nearby.
but still oh look, there are people that are actually.
Yeah, there are actually people who just within a couple miles of me they're posting things, and I've thought it'd be kind of cool to follow some of those people, but I don't know. I kind of like not having to worry about people coming to my front door that I talk to on here.
Are you saying that Idahoans are scary? I mean, I see your dog. You had a friendly dog to guard you right back there. He's scratching himself.
Yeah, she looks really vicious, doesn't she?
She's very vicious, but I'm sure she would protect you, right, to the end.
Yeah, she would.
So that's
if she starts rolling around and being weird, you let me know and I'll send her off.
Oh, we like rolling around and being weird. We're pretty free show in that way, as long as you keep your clothes on. Of course, dogs don't wear clothes. Only my dog wears clothes because she's this big. But
yeah, that's okay.
It's all right. Cool. So Idaho sounds interesting. And then you're on Hangouts, and I met you in a Hangout. I mean, that's, before I think I even saw you on the stream, I turned a Hangout. And you seem pretty cool. Bobbi Jo, side note, loves to roll around and be weird, and this is where she tells me I should not have shared that with everybody, but what are you going to do? It's funny, right? So if you're ever in a fire situation, you want Bobbi Jo, who will stop, drop, and roll with you, is what all I got to say about that. But her last name is Woods, so if she catches on fire, she might burn for a while. Who said that? Bobbi Jo's kidding. It's turning bright. Colors of red I've never seen before. Matches Brian's drapes behind him. So, as I was so you're on Hangouts, you're discovering people on Hangouts. We hung out for quite some time. And so what is your experience? What was your first impression of Hangouts, and how does it differ than anything Skype or chat roulette or other things you've seen before? What was your first impression?
Yeah, I never really got into the video chats before. Years ago, back when the first started, I was on IRC channels and things like that, just talking to people.
Internet relay chats for those people that.
Different than this, because I think the video part of it, being able to see the person and see their reactions and see their their different expressions, I think makes a huge difference in really truly getting to know them. And plus having people, for most part, they're knowing their real names and knowing where they're from. I think that makes a huge difference on how they act towards you, and that level of how do I get to know that person, and is this the person that they really are, is the real them that I'm getting to know. It seems like in a lot of other platforms that you get to know somebody and you're getting to know that image that they want to put across. And I think we still see that to some point on here. There are some people who want to put themselves off as very successful, as maybe smarter than they really are, or whatever.
What are you talking
about?
Robert Pitt? What? No, I'm just kidding. Who said that? We love you, Robert Pitt.
Whatever it is, there's a lot of people that try to put that across, and I think that as some people, they can't they couldn't hold that image up, and we kind of saw some fallout. I think after a certain period of time, there was fallout between people of, okay, you put yourself across as this, and I'm starting to realize just from hanging out with you more and more that you're not that. And but I think that it's the Hangout community has really settled down, and the people that hang out together now, I think are becoming fairly good friends. And I have people on here that I talk to them, and I know a lot about them, and have built up a relationship to where I'm comfortable to sit down and say, hey, how's your family doing, or how did your doctor's appointment go? All these different things that I think if you're just an IRC chat channel, or if you play an online game with a group of people or something like that, you don't get that level of I guess intimacy, even though it's not in that way of intimacy.
Right.
But
It's more like I just pwned you, fool. I don't care about your daddy. I just pwned you. And it's over.
Yeah. So I think that that's something that even if Google Plus Hangouts were to shut down today, I think there are still a lot of people who would find other ways to communicate with each other because they have built up that bond.
Right, and the chances of Google Plus Hangouts shutting down are zero.
I don't see them shutting down anytime soon.
Yeah. And by the way, thanks for asking about my family. They're doing pretty good. Doctor's appointments, I'm good. So nothing lately. But how are you doing? How's your family and doctor appointments going?
Yeah, no, my family's good. That's something on here. Usually, you'll see the kids running around. I don't have kids here, so but yeah, I've got dogs. People, they say, how are your dogs doing? But my family, they they don't understand Google Plus and Hangouts. But I think that's probably most people's families.
Is it that they don't understand Google Plus and Hangouts, or is it that they don't understand Brian Aldridge?
Yeah, I don't know. No. But yeah, they say, I don't know what that means, but okay, if I tell them anything about this.
Right.
And I'm like,
all
right,
there was a learning curve, though, I think, even for us. I think even people that know what they're doing, there's still a learning curve because it's all new, and Google never had anything like this before, so
yeah.
So it's definitely new. You talked about video games a little. I know you like some video games. I know you're obsessed with Skyrim, or you were.
Yeah, I played a little Skyrim, but now I played that new Star Wars.
Yeah, TOR.
The Old Republic.
Yeah.
Yeah, SWTOR, Star Wars: The Old Republic. Sorry, I got to get all the.
No, you got to get all the
initials.
You got to get the SW and TOR is not enough. They actually did. So I actually was doing some searching, and people are having TOR hangouts talking about TOR. So is it amazing? What?
Yeah, actually beta tested it for a weekend, and I got to level about 20, and it was a lot of fun. Like I've played World of Warcraft, I played EverQuest many years ago, played Lord of the Rings Online, played Star Wars, whatever it was, and
was it Star Wars?
Yeah, they had an
Star
old
Wars Lego. I'm just kidding.
No, they had an old Star Wars game, and I used to play it. I play all those, but the difference between this one and a lot of the others is they have all voice acting. So when you go in there, how on some games you go and play them, and all the different characters, you can listen to them talking, have a conversation through the whole game. That's how this is. So you're not sitting there just reading text, or not reading the text at all and just hitting okay, just so you can get the quest and get it done. You actually follow the whole storyline. And I think it really brings the person playing the game in a lot more, and it makes it so that you're getting a lot more out of the game than you would with some of these other games like World of Warcraft, or a lot of them that people are just trying to level up as quickly as possible. This, you're not necessarily trying to level up. You're following the story, and you feel like you're actually accomplishing something. Even though it's just a game, you're not accomplishing anything.
There's a multiplayer online type thing, like a World of Warcraft, or?
Yeah, it is. It's a MMORPG, so it's a massive multiplayer online role-playing game, and so it's going to be just like with World of Warcraft. You have all these people playing together. It's going to be a lot of the same way. You can play by yourself if you want to, or you can play with a whole group of people.
Oh, I know I can play with what? It's a family nacho. That sounds like it's a lot of fun. I mean, my last experience, I know I brought up Ultima Online with Joseph Lee. He's like, you're old, that's old, mudding, all that stuff. I'm like, all right, great. I'm like, I've been away for a while. What's happened?
Yeah, it's okay.
So yeah, no, there's a lot of, it's cool about Star Wars. I hashtag Star Wars, and there's a lot, that's a pretty popular hashtag, and I post a lot of stuff, funny stuff about Star Wars, and I actually created Star Wars Circle. And actually, I'm talking with Maximilian about creating a Star Wars type of page. So that's, he's all about that. So, it's really cool to see different hashtags, different things that pop up on Google+. Quick question from Peter McDermott. I think this is what he meant. He wants to know that cheese you mentioned, what kind of beer, what's the best kind of beer that goes with that cheese? So if he was to import that cheese from, say, Idaho to Tennessee, I think.
Well, I don't drink though, but
if you did,
probably if I were to drink, I would probably drink it with a dark beer like a Guinness or something, whatever your flavor of dark beer that you like.
Are you trying to say that you did like Guinness at one point? You kind of had Guinness, or you never? That's not even.
I've had Guinness before.
Okay. Right.
But I don't drink anymore.
You don't drink anymore because you're too busy crushing skulls playing hockey.
Oh yes.
So hockey, how did you get into hockey? Is that the Northwest type of sport, or?
No, actually, hockey is not an Idaho sport at all. So when I was 7, the pastor of my church, he moved and started pastoring our church, and he came from Chicago, and he played professional level hockey. And so he got my dad interested in playing hockey when he first got here, and then I started playing hockey also. And so I was 7 and started playing from then on. When I was 12, they didn't really have any kids hockey players around here. So what I ended up doing was playing with the adults from when I was 12 till about 15 or 16. And then they finally had enough kids here for me to join a league.
So you were really good by then because you had tough.
Yeah, it got me to a level. Yeah, it got me to a level of playing that if I would have been playing with kids the whole time, especially ones that have grown up in a state where they're not playing hockey at all, I would have been just pretty much carrying the team the whole time. Instead, I was able to play with people that in the past had played professionally or played on semi-pro teams, so it made me think at a different level of hockey. And so when I turned 16, they said, okay, well, you can join a junior team now. And I said, well, okay, so they put me on the team that had never won a game the whole season. and so I said, all right.
You're like the Mighty Ducks. That's like the real story of the Mighty Ducks. They took the star kid and they put him on the crappy team. Is that kind of what it was?
Yeah, and so we won every game after that. And
did you do a duck formation?
Well, we had this team that had never lost, and and we beat them the first game that I played them with, and they started crying. And it was hilarious.
Ryan Aldridge made people cry, kids cry, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, but now one thing that I did find is that after that point, the kids that I was playing with got really cocky, and we went into the very last game playing that team that had never lost.
Oh, they never lost.
Well, yeah, that had cried, and the kids quit on my team. They just didn't really try, and they just sat back and just were like, go take the puck up and score. And so I sat back for the championship game and said, I'm not going to score any points. And we lost the championship. That was the only game we lost.
You did that
I said, I'm not going to. Yeah, I said, I'm not. If you guys aren't going to try, I'm not going to make you win the championships because you guys didn't even try. And so they gave it to the other team.
Did you get in trouble for that? Did the coach know you were
no? The coach understood because he realized that the team went from being very appreciative to be very unappreciative.
How old were you when you did this? 7?
I was 16.
Oh, okay, 16. That's a little. So at 16, Ryan Aldridge took it upon himself to teach the kids on his team an important lesson that people that give up don't deserve a champion.
Well, for me, it was a lesson of, if you're not willing to put in the effort behind what the team, if you're not even willing to try, and you're going the easy way, you can't always expect someone else to carry you.
So then let me ask you this question. The team that beat you, did all those kids start crying then because you lost the championship, or your team?
All the kids on my team?
Yeah.
Yeah, they started crying at that point.
They started crying. Now, were you just smiling and my
plan
was successful?
No, I just told them, I said, if you guys want to win, next time you have to put a little bit of effort into it. I said, I'm not going to, and that was the last, I didn't play after that season anyway.
Nobody ever came to your birthday parties ever again.
Yeah. But well, after that point, we went to nationals, and we just took all the better players from the league, and we made a nationals team, and we went to nationals that next year, and so we actually, I didn't want to encourage the negative bad behaviors of hockey, and I actually coach kids hockey now.
I was gonna say you need to be coached, but you are a coach.
And so that's the thing is I try to teach them that if you're not willing to try, and if you give up, you can't expect to win. And I said, as long as you put in the effort, and as long as you try, regardless of whether you win or not, you accomplish something and you did a good job. It's not always about winning; it's about whether or not you tried your best.
I feel like we're writing a movie script, like me and you sitting here talking about the hockey and the kids and the Mr. Miyagi technique, trying, and I feel like it's very movie-like. What about do you have a favorite hockey player? I mean, it's pretty interesting that a past.
No, I don't actually watch hockey, so yeah. I mean, I used to really like the Blues. They're through the years, but I don't watch sports. Mm-hmm. I play hockey, but I don't really like watching TV that much. So
cool. Shout out to Peter McDermott and Tiffany that are watching. Robert Pitt, Anthony Foster, Bobby Joe Woods in the chat room. From Peter McDermott, going back to Star Wars. What Star Wars character was your idol as a young boy? Was it Han Solo by any chance? Or?
Well, that's kind of a tricky question. I really
was not allowed to watch Star Wars as a young boy.
No, actually, we had the original Star Wars movie. My parents went and saw Star Wars when it was released in theater, and we had the original VHS tape of Star Wars. We still have that. And, so I used to watch the original number one all the time.
Or episode
and the first released number 4 all the time, and so I really liked it. But I didn't really like the main character, so it was probably Chewbacca was probably my favorite.
Are you telling us that you're hairy and you like to pound your chest, or is that what
I'm kind of hairy? Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all good. You have a girlfriend that loves you and your Chewbacca ways.
She loves me the way I am.
Just the way you are. No manscaping. What? Who said that? So Chewbacca's a cool character. I mean, he communicates a lot without speaking English, and he makes Han more well-rounded and everything. And like that one moment. This is probably not a spoiler if you haven't seen Star Wars. You haven't seen like Empire
Episode 4 yet,
or even 5. I was gonna say that one moment where Han is getting taken away, and Chewie makes that little noise. I can't do that. But, you can do it. Yeah, where he goes he's all. That's like so touching to that little like sound, like when they're taking.
Well, and he's the character that throughout the whole thing he never wavered on his support for the person that he was behind. I guess that kind of falls into my mindset of with him he was the perfect supporting character because no matter what, if even when he was frozen in the was it carbonite or not carbonite.
Yeah, you got it. I love how Brian Aldridge was like, I don't want to sound like I know that it's carbonite. It's like okay, Brian.
I don't know what the term is, but carbonite,
they know. You played the Old Republic, you beta tested it. They know. You don't have to hide it. You have a girlfriend. We're not. No one's
I don't have to try anymore, right?
You don't have to. You don't have to put up a front. Be yourself. You like Star Wars. Yeah. Most people like Star Wars, so you don't.
Oh yeah.
Don't bad. Now I see.
At least I'm not a Star Trek nerd,
Now you're done.
I see. It's like where are they staring? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Together. It looks like they're watching TV or something.
They're staring at the wall for no reason.
So if you call them right now, would they look this way if you say their names?
Oh yeah, Lola Miso.
One of them looked. The other one.
Lola.
He's like, oh, come on.
That's how she doesn't want to show that she knows that I'm calling her until she knows she has to. All right.
I'm just checking on some of our surprises.
But yeah, no, it's like he was there, pretty much trying to save the guy until he finally was able to, and I don't know. It seems like that was my favorite character, and plus in the newer movies, right? They had a whole tribe of those people. If I remember correctly.
Wookiees, yeah.
The Wookiees, yeah, and I think that was kind of cool to see that there was more than just one Wookiee in the world.
So, I love Star Wars too, and I don't know, we don't have to get into too much about the new movies. I mean, I know they're re-releasing them in 3D, more of the Lucas Money Machine.
In Blu-ray,
I don't really have an interest. Well, no, and also they're in the movie theater. They're going to be in 3D, the episodes 1, 2, and 3. Maybe 4, 5, and 6. I don't know how I feel about I mean, they were okay. I mean, I felt like they got better as they went along. Like 1 was 2 was a little better, 3 was probably maybe the best one, but you know, I don't know. Do you feel like those movies?
I still prefer the old ones.
Yeah,
I mean,
think we all
that's
do.
the thing is
Most.
that when they first put out, I guess number 1, I was really thrown off by how different the movie was acted and recorded, and a lot of that is probably because of technology. And now you're having more professional actors. When that first started, some of those actors were very new people. And I think that changes a lot. You'll see some movies like you take 28 Days Later. That's kind of a scary movie, but you take 28 Days Later and you look at the acting in that one versus, was it 28 Weeks Later, to where the first one was a small budget film. The second one was a pretty. They knew that it was successful already on the first one. After that point,
they started to whore it a little bit. That's what they do.
And so it's done by more professional actors. But I in that one I really liked the first one just because it wasn't oh, I'm a famous actor and here's how I'm going to act.
Right. I think I think there's a point where it's like, okay, I'm watching Star Wars and we have Natalie Portman and we have Samuel L. Jackson and Liam Neeson and Ian McGregor, and you're like, these are people that I know. So it's like not the same thing as watching a movie.
I like it with the people in the original Star Wars. That's who they are to me.
Right.
They're not people that I've seen in all these other movies, and I've seen in doing all these other types of roles. Those what they play in that original show, that is who they are to me. If they play in a different film as something else, that seems like then they're leaving who they are, because that's what I know.
Well, I would say someone like Alec Guinness, if you grew up with Alec Guinness and you're older than us and you saw Bridge on the River Kwai and things like that, you might think of him not just as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and someone like Harrison Ford has such a huge career. It's hard for me. It's hard to just stick Han Solo. He's Indiana Jones, and he's in all those movies. Clear and Present Danger. I've got the author. Those Patriot Game type movies, and he's done a lot of different things over the years. So it's hard for me to think he's just one thing. He's made a lot of different movies, but no, I hear what you're saying. And I think it's better to watch movies with unknown people, with people that you don't have a preconceived notion of who they are and what they do. I think that's what killing some people like Tom Cruise is that. All right, well, he's already played out, and like, all right, now he's in Mission Impossible, and it's kind of like. There are actors that are themselves all the time, and then there are actors that are actually into the part, and sometimes there are actors that mix it up. So I think that's just it. I think that like when you have an actor that does like change who he is, and I feel like character actors more like a Philip Seymour Hoffman or someone else, that they try to actually be the person and not just be a personality. And I think that's what we're talking about as the main difference. All right, cool. Let's go to the G4. We're going to have a lot of surprises coming up, so we have a lot to talk about. You're going to be in the mix. Everyone's going to be in the mix. G4 is a rapid series of questions, rapid fire style. And just this or that, no wrong answer. First one has 2 parts, Android or iPhone.
What has 2 parts?
No. This is not it. Don't worry. I'm saying there's 4 this or that.
Oh, okay.
The first one has 2 parts related. So, do you prefer Android or iPhone? Is the question.
Oh, Android. Okay.
So in that,
which one has 2 parts? Android or iPhone? I was like, is that a trick question?
Because it's going to be like G5. It's going to be like a G5. I just did A and B.
Okay.
Because with Android and iPhone, so does that mean PC over Mac?
Yeah, because if you look at like the Android is kind of like Linux to me. I mean, I'm a Linux fan, and Android is like the Linux flavor. So it's more of an open source backing, and I think there's a lot more potential for it.
Do you think, though, something like a Mac, would you even rather to do like graphics, and is that all overblown to use a Mac for graphics editing?
I think that it used to be that case, and I think that for some people, you'll still get some performance that maybe you wouldn't have. But I think because the software is so similar between the two now, it used to be back in in the 90s, if you wanted to do video editing, you would have a Mac. And I think that's become less of, you may not want to do it on Linux, but I think even between Windows and a Mac, you have the same software between the two now. If you're going to use like an Adobe product, you can use an Adobe product, and now a lot of the Macs are Intel-based, so they're pretty much like, a PC to some point.
So do you think it's a lot of rubbish that like you're more at risk for viruses on a PC than you are on a Mac, or that?
No, I don't think that. I think that you are more at risk on a Windows machine. I think that is because of, the way things are going right now. You're starting to see some viruses on a Mac, but being that a Mac is more based on Unix and is more of a Linux type of an operating system, it's not as susceptible to viruses. I mean, I deal with viruses, in my job all the time. Once a week, I'm cleaning a virus off of a system on a Windows PC. Once or twice, I've cleaned a virus off of a Mac.
So real quick, what is it? So what do you do? Like, I know you're on G Plus a lot and you work on the Hangout Canopy team we're going to talk about, but
Yeah.
like just real quick, in the middle of G4, like what is your daily job, and is it something that you enjoy?
I own a computer consulting company here in Boise, so Boise Computer Service is what it's called, and we do computer repair. We do it for residential sometimes, but we mostly deal with small, medium-sized businesses.
So do you consider yourself
we'll go in and maintain
a small business then? Pretty small.
I consider us a small business. We do deal with some medium-sized, 100, 200 employee companies that we support, but our company ourselves, we're a pretty small business.
Cool. And that's something you enjoy doing with computer consulting and...
Yeah, that's something when I was young, it's kind of nerdy of me, but when I was young, that's what I wanted to do. When I was in junior high, people asked me, what do you want to do? And I said I wanted to be a computer consultant.
You said those words? You said computer consultant, and they're like, what does that mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said I wanted to work on computers when I was older. I wanted to repair and set up computers, and that's what a
So you like repairing and building computers? You like the hardware aspect?
I do that, but I don't do that too much anymore. Mostly I go in and I'll set up like some more complicated servers, building servers, but I'll put together computers here, but I'm not really a tech. That'd be more of like a tech.
Don't read the question, you'll laugh too hard. A question just came in over the air, and we'll get to it, but... all right, cool. Real back. So let's go back to the G4. This is a tough one. Hockey or singing? Which one do you prefer, hockey or singing?
I prefer playing hockey over singing, but I wouldn't want to give up either one.
Okay. And I know you refused to sing, and that was obvious with our promos.
We already had this conversation.
But so what, you sing in a choir, or is there any other type of singing that you do? Would you like shower with your girlfriend, something else?
Well, actually, yeah. I grew up singing. My dad led a choir when I was young, and so I've sang since I was really little. But when I went to Boise State, BSU, Boise State University, I sang in their largest choir that they have there, which is about a 100-person choir. And then I also sang in a men's chorus there, in their what's called the men's chorus, and they had then the Meister Singers, which was the bigger group. And so, I got some really good experience of singing in a more professional level choir doing that, and that was a lot of fun. Now I just sing more relaxed, sing for bluegrass groups, regular choir groups, a cappella groups, whatever they want. I can read sheet music, so they'll just give me music and I'll sing whatever they ask for. I can sing fairly high, but I'm not like a super high tenor.
Yeah, you enjoy Monty Python. You like to say me. You like to. Yeah. You like all that.
The knights who say me.
The knights who say me. And then someone posted a link in the promo when Brian was doing some of the Monty Python stuff, and someone posted a link to us. I was watching it. It's been a while since I saw it. Really a flash moon. We had a lot of fun. Bobby Joe enjoys the neat. Okay, so hockey was the answer. Which is worse? I don't know if you'll find either one worse, but which is worse for you? Actors that do politics or G+ drama? Like, which one kind of is more annoying in general?
Well, definitely G+ drama, just because for me, like, you can turn off a movie.
Uh-huh.
I guess I could turn off Google+, but, you see all these actors that do whatever, and you're just like, okay, that's their world. But, with the Google+ and the drama that comes from it, like, I'm bringing that into my life,
Hopefully
and
not
it gets
too much. Is it hopefully?
Yeah.
Is it overwhelming? I don't know.
No, and that's the thing. I think it's important to keep a balance. I think the people that run into the major, drama on here are the ones that invest everything into it. And I think that, for some people, they need to realize, and possibly this is for people that have not really had a long-term online experience. Like for me, I've been on the internet since the early mid 90s, like 94, I think it was, 93, 94. And so I understand that there are things that happen on the internet and then there's things that happen in real life. And, I can get a connection with people on the internet but, I have the right, if it gets too personal or if it gets to where it's a problem, I can, close the window, and I think that a lot of people, they find themselves drawn to it and they get sucked into the drama and then people play with their heads and all that. And you just gotta say, you know what, if this is becoming to where it's becoming a problem out here in my life, to where it's stressing me out or it's causing problems in my relationship with my loved ones or whatever it is, you got to just say, okay, I got to take a break from this because out here this is what's happening to me that I can't turn off. That makes sense?
No, it makes total sense, and I'm phrasing up a little bit. Sometimes that happens. There we go. Yeah, obviously the G Plus drama, hangouts, and streams, and stuff like that that's going on, that happens, is something that directly affects us actors, whether they're being politicians or they're involved in politics. I think people have the right to speak their mind. There are politicians, actors become politicians, football players become politicians, lawyers, anyone becomes a politician. So to say one person, those people that say, oh, those are actors or these are like athletes or whatever, they should talk about politics, I guess, but it's like, everyone has the right to an opinion. It's just
I think that some of those people can be very intelligent. I think a lot of the problem is we judge those people as, okay, well, that's what they are, the actor, right, the role that they play. Some of those people are very different off screen. Like
Ronald Reagan was the president, so there's your example.
Yeah, you look at Ronald Reagan, he was an excellent politician, and he was an excellent, I'm not a big fan of his movies, but he was
actor. Yeah,
but he also was a very good actor, for his time, and so I think that just saying, well, we shouldn't have any of these. I think that they are maybe showing them their real selves when they go into politics, but I think some of them probably carry their acting into politics too. So I think that's something that
and it's kind of like a performance, like a show, and I think that's why you have people like athletes and politicians and lawyers, because those three professions are professions where people have to perform and be themselves. The last question, would you, and we're going to get into your little something I like to call Hangout Canopy, I don't know if that's what you like to call Hangout Canopy sausage, as Bobby Joe calls it. Would you rather start a Hangout or using your Hangout Canopy hit the I'm feeling lucky button? Which, if you
I'd rather hit the I'm feeling lucky button. With me, I've said this before, I like to join Hangouts. I don't necessarily create them. I like to join in and be a part of Hangouts, and some people, that's what they're all about, creating Hangouts, and that's fine. But I like to jump in and increase. I go in and if there's one with 4 people in it, 5 people in it, I'll go add to it and see if I can add to the conversation or get something out of the conversation. Because sometimes I'll just go in there and I'll listen and I'll learn about something new.
Yeah, and it takes more effort to invite people and have to start it and wait for people to show up and all that jazz. And it's
really embarrassing when you're sitting there and it says this person is hanging out, and then it says this person hung out and there was nobody with you.
Yeah, I guess, but they do get rid of that. But I guess like Canopy.
Yeah, they used to have it out there.
Yeah, but
this person is alone.
Yeah, they're alone. So Hangout Canopy is a big deal. For the longest time on G Plus, a lot of us, I know I was one, many of us at the beginning, were like, Hangouts are all mixed up, they're all over the place, I can't find Hangouts, can't there be some kind of stream for Hangouts? And basically, people create extensions, because when you want something and it's not there, developers go and they're even without an API, a full API, they're creating extensions. So we got this little quick Hangout thing that was on the side, which wasn't bad, and then Mohammed Mansour, or Mansour I like to say, created his own little quick Hangouts, and then Robert Pitt created a Hangout Canopy, and other things have come back and forth, and so now we have Hangout Canopy, and it was really, it's really interesting. It's really made the experience of Hangouts easier and something that people check. So what is your overall experience? How did you hook up with Robert Pitt and get this thing going?
Actually, yeah, with Robert, we started working on a different project together. So we had another project that we were thinking of doing, and we just came to the decision that there was a lot of people competing for that same space, and we wanted to start something very new and different. And so what we ended up doing is just sitting down and saying, hey, he was like, I want to create an extension, because before we were working on a website, and we said, well, we want to create an extension, and we just sat down and started brainstorming over, what's missing in Google Plus, what's the problem that could be patched, or what's the hole that could be filled with, something, and we came up with an idea of an extension that will, show the Hangouts all in one spot, because there were some before, but they kept on breaking and they never really worked all the time. And so we just wanted to create one that and say, well, if we always keep it up and always make sure it works, that would make me happy. Because for me, I like to go in and just I like to go and find Hangouts. Since I joined Hangouts, I really saw how difficult it was on the streams to find certain groups of people that I like to hang out with all the time.
Yeah.
And so we decided, well, we could probably make it a little bit better by, since all these people are going to be finding these Hangouts, and not necessarily everybody's going to be seeing the same groups of Hangouts that other people are seeing, as if, with all these public ones, how about we have everybody share those Hangouts? So, it was a pretty natural fit of, he worked with software, I worked with servers, and so we just created a simple system that, when it sees a public Hangout, it sends it to our server. It says, hey, do you already know about this Hangout? We say yes. If we don't, we'll tell everybody about that Hangout. And, it really took off, and, we were expecting more Hangouts. I mean, but I think we kind of found out, I've said it to you before, we're kind of the 1% of Hangouters.
I'm not a fan of saying 1%. Oh my God! What is that?
But,
who is that person? Oh my God, it's Lucas Johnson. Where did you
Hey
come
man,
from?
how's it going?
Hey, it's like you took a
Oh my
shower
God,
and
what a
everything.
surprise!
What a surprise! Oh my God, somebody's surprised. It's like,
Oh,
wow,
you
I
guys are
can't
funny.
handle it. You came in on the right time. How are you doing? Middle of our Hangout Canopy discussion. I didn't plan that or anything. Hangout Canopy. What is it?
Yeah, of course not.
Of course not. I would never,
Yeah,
ever do anything like that. That would be wrong to make a soap opera. It's not like we talked about G plus drama. None of that stuff. So we'll go back to Canopy in just 1 second. How are you, Lucas? Thanks for joining us. Wow, you're set up. You're like, is that your whole new American office?
Yeah, this is the smaller room, so it's kind of like Alex's station
Wait,
is
did you just
back
say that was
there.
the small room?
Yeah, this is
Oh my
the other
God.
room is quite a bit bigger than this. Like we're painting and laying in floors on the other room, so
Cool.
this room is kind of going to be like the living quarters, and Alex is going to have his entire workstation here, and then the other bigger room is going to be the full-on studio. Yeah, it's going good.
Cool. Well, welcome to the show. You and Brian are friends, and we're all friends. We've been hanging out for quite some time. And, I see that from
No, I just want to say, even when all the drama was going on, I was still talking to Brian and Robert.
yeah, we still
Buying
talk
into
about it
all-
and just feel like, it's drama.
Yeah.
drama. I think it's other people's problems, and not Peter McDermott is plus wanting the crap out of this right now. He's like, where else can you watch this kind of? Can't even see this crap on TV. I mean, Jesus. I mean,
That's kind of true, yeah.
only on Hangout conversations.
Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'm not
We're
quite
all
sure.
friends.
Again.
Yeah, it's not like I have Pitt and Mansour in one room. I have
Cage match.
yeah. This is just the opening round.
I'd pay money to see that.
I don't know. I think that they would be grappling with each other for quite some time, before anything happened.
Yeah.
But
I think there would be a rage quit happening in there
Rage quit.
somewhere.
so before we get into Lucas, what you're doing and your setup, let's. I want to complete the Hangout Canopy, even though we'll probably talk more
Yeah,
about it
it
as we go
shouldn't be
along.
about me. It's about Brian.
Yeah. It's up, Brian.
Sorry.
So Lucas, I mean, would it be wrong to ask if you've tried Hangout Canopy and if you use it?
Yeah, no, I like Robert sends me updates before they go out to test it out. So I appreciate that. I mean, I haven't been doing as much hanging out since I've been here. But
Well, it's
before
America.
I
I mean, you
moved.
got nothing to do in Canada, right?
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Whoa!
I love Canada.
Oh, burn. But yeah, like I was using it when that major update came out and the UI changed a bit. I thought that was pretty snazzy. I really liked it. starting from then.
Have you
I
ever
started.
clicked the I'm feeling lucky button since the new one?
What's that?
Have you clicked the I'm feeling lucky button since the new one came out, or?
No, I haven't. I haven't used it since the latest update, though.
Okay,
Just
cool.
because I've been kind of rethinking my use of extensions in general.
Right. No, it makes sense. Yeah, we'll get to the search thing in a second. So Brian,
Yeah.
so as you've watched Hangout Canopy develop, you've watched more and more people use it, and more people thank you for it and take off. I know there was a period you guys were down to retool it and rework it, and during that period there was the outcry of people like the hockey team you made cry. Everybody was crying,
Yeah.
like my friend is gone. Hangout Canopy, I lost a friend. There were blogs. Daniel Fontaine put up a post like his life was over. I don't know. So what does it feel like that now that you've experienced all that outcry? Like, does it feel
Well,
like?
I think that what we ended up, before it went down, what we ended up doing was just we were saying, okay, we're gonna let it do its own thing for a while. But when Google made their change, we actually realized, there was a lot of people that were really relying on it, and there was a lot of support behind it. And so we ended up, sitting down and saying, okay, well, we were going to wait and incorporate some new features in the next version, but since we're going to have a break, rather than just quickly putting it out and having an update the next day,
Right.
we said we're going to incorporate these new features into this version, and wait a couple days. I mean, it was down less than a week. I think it ended up.
Yeah.
It ended up being only, but we said 2 weeks just so that people wouldn't harass us in case something came up. But, we got those incorporated, and we said, okay, this time we're going to release, because we had the opportunity to really test our servers and make sure that we could handle the load. That was part of our big concern, was having, everybody install this extension and then the servers crash because of the load of everything. And so we got a good idea of how many people we could handle. And so we said, all right.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the average amount of people that are using it daily or total or anything like that?
No,
Okay.
I mean, in the thousands,
In the thousands. Cool.
at any point in time. So we have quite a bit more than that overall installs. And so, that's something if I don't know if you noticed, we're on the front page of the Chrome Store extension.
Yeah, I saw that.
Web store.
Congrats,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, they put us on the front page and on the front page of the extension category also. And so that was, just from that we saw thousands of installs the first day they put us on there. And so that was a huge deal. We were pretty excited about that. And so
And that transcends too. That gets people actually more aware of Hangouts in general. I think that does a lot for their brand as well as for your guys.
Yeah, and we were really encouraging for people just to get to, we want to make the user experience for the first time people hanging out and make it as easy as possible, and then really encourage them to go into a Hangout, because there's so many people that are so nervous about hanging out. They don't feel comfortable about being in front of people, of being on a camera. To them, it just seems really weird. But yeah, they just I think that if we make it really easy, they have a long list of people, and they can say, okay, well, these people don't seem so strange. These aren't all weird people. They can go in there and jump in and feel comfortable. And I think we're going to really try to encourage in the next version, maybe have some tutorials or a guide of etiquette
or something, or how to do Hangouts and stuff like that.
Yeah, just really encourage people. Just don't be nervous. Go in there and don't be a creeper. We've run into the creepers.
Yeah.
Go in there and just hang out, be relaxed, and just talk to people. And that's all.
Yeah, it's a weird thing for me too. Because I'm an actor and all that, but just that that people are nervous and shy about that. I get it. I think that according to Google Plus, they said, we thought Hangouts were going to be for friends and family, and people are going to hang out with people they know. They say they never thought people would use it like we're using it. I think that's a load of hooey, but it's interesting to see. We are still, like you said, in the 1% of people that do hang out publicly and hang out with or less than 1% with anyone and everyone. So it's interesting. A question that I missed earlier from one Peter McDermott, former guest of the show. He was very curious to know, Brian, about your skin. He wants to know what you did to get your skin so soft. I believe that's probably more important than Hangout Canopy. Is it an Idaho trick, or is there some kind of cream?
Peter, you're a douche.
Do you use douche? Is what I think Lucas Johnson is thinking. Peter,
a very good and awesome one at that. But
yes. Well, Peter, if you move to Idaho, we have a very dry climate.
We eat cheese.
Yes, and I eat lots of cheese to moisturize my skin.
All the fat with the oil and the hair.
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. So we won't get into the drama about that between the two camps or whatever. I think I think most people have moved on from that, and I know now.
I don't know if anybody actually still cares though.
No. I mean, yeah.
More than anything.
Hey, one last thing before we move on from Canopy for now. The search. So G Plus has these search limits I talked about at the top of the show. Running too many extensions, but it maybe not just Canopy. Maybe other extensions use kind of the G Plus search. So what is your understanding of how the search works compared to the extensions?
So actually we for a period of time we're using a search method for finding the Hangouts in we're in people's streams and things like that.
Right.
And we found that there was another extension that started using that method, and so when both of those were installed at the same time, it was making people hit their cap on the number of searches they could do within a period of time. And and so that's why some people were getting error messages when they would try to go and do a regular search in Google+. So they would go do a search and say, you can't do any more searches, wait a little while and you'll be able to. So
which extension is this? So it was doing that
well,
too?
it's every extension that uses it. Canopy searches, Muhammad's Hangout searches, and some other.
And we actually reversed that once we saw, because Muhammad's extension was using that. And so people were having both installed at the same time. And so we actually reversed ours to where we do it through a different method now, because out of respect for Muhammad, when we hit that limit, our extension didn't totally break. The problem with Muhammad's is he relies 100% on that method, and so when he hit that limit, his extension would quit working altogether. And so we figured, to be nice about it, we would reverse ours so that we don't take away from the number of searches that people can do, and so ours doesn't rely, because regardless, ours, since we're networking all these Hangouts, people are going to see the same number of Hangouts on ours.
Right.
We're able to find since we have so many people using it, somebody's going to see those Hangouts, and it's not necessarily that everybody's going to be sending in as many results, but as much as is going to get covered on ours. And with his, it just ended up, I went and tested it when we started seeing that problem, and for me, his extension worked about 50% of the time because of that problem. So we just reversed ours.
Well, it's interesting too, because I know with his Hangout, he didn't use the search method. He was using a different method, and I think sort of now he's using this.
And
more.
something, yeah.
Yeah, and I know he credited me or whatever, and I know I saw it in the stream. Mike Downs, I saw him first talking about using search terms to list all the Hangouts, and I thought about doing that, but since we had Canopy, I didn't think there was a need to do that. But
I've tried doing it that way, and it's hit or miss. Actually searching for is hanging out now or whatever.
Yeah, and we kind of found that we weren't really getting the results out of that method that we were hoping for, because Google the information isn't there. And so we really figured, okay, if we just rely on the number of people that are using our extension to bring in those results, we don't have to try to search in weird ways and try to pull those results out. And the way that we ended up doing it with the server is we actually take a lot of the load, because I know a lot of people are saying, well, there's a lot of load going on because of our extension. With the way we've done it, people aren't having to find all these results and send them to us. We have a method of they don't have to do as much work on the client side because there's so many people doing it. We actually cut down a lot of the bandwidth, and we cut down a lot of the CPU usage on the client side. Because the server and the number of people are taking care of it, and we have it to where it's actually only saying to certain people, hey, can you see if this Hangout exists for us? Can you see if this Hangout exists for us? And in doing that, everybody isn't constantly checking Hangouts. I mean, if you have thousands of people using it, very few people, when you have, let's say, 20 Hangouts listed, only not that many people out of those thousands of people have to check for a Hangout's, current status.
Yeah.
So, there's been a lot of, there's been a lot, mainly a lot of the controversy right now is, the fact that we use a server. People have been saying, servers are dangerous, but,
clear your name, clear it up.
Well, and one thing that we've made very clear from the very beginning is the only thing that's being sent back to our server are the public Hangouts. There's no private information being sent. We don't do any kind of a login system right now. I mean, we're not having any other information other than public hangouts coming back to our server. So when we hear people saying, well, a private hangout got shared, or some kind of limited hangout got shared, we don't send any of those hangouts. Those stay 100% local. So we kind of knew right away that wasn't true.
Yeah.
Just because we've gone through the code, we know exactly, and we know if one of those hangouts were to come to our server, since it's not a public hangout, our server wouldn't do anything with it.
Yeah, I think that's just the misconception of like if you have any kind of extension like that installed, you assume that when anything like that happens, it's its fault. Like I had that same kind of thing, and I messaged Robert when I started using it. I was like, how did these people find the Hangout? And Hangout had shared it accidentally, but I can totally understand, because that's automatically where my mind went. I was like, oh, this has to be the plugin doing it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty sure from what we've seen from Google, I think when we put our source code for our server and our extension is out on the internet. I know certain people have read through it because they've made comments on our code, and so if we would have had a backdoor or something in there that wasn't done, it would have been brought out.
People would have found it and it would have exposed it.
Yeah, or they take advantage of it. That's the thing is we've done our best to make it as secure and as fast as possible. And that's why we don't send anything else back, to the server other than here's the Hangout ID.
Yeah.
Do you have this Hangout ID?
It's farming data, so it's kind of like counterproductive to you guys anyways if you're sending that much data back and forth.
Well, and now, since we were so worried about having massive amounts of data, coming back, to our server anyways. If we were just worried about thousands of people sending back Hangout IDs, we're not going to be sending all this other information. We're already watching our bandwidth caps and saying, okay, if we have 10,000 people, what is our bandwidth going to be at? If we have 20,000 people, what is our bandwidth going to be at? We're really watching that. And
so it's going, but it's going pretty well.
It
seems like the new update did the trick for the most part, right?
Yeah, I think people have been really happy because it's been really accurate. That's the main thing. It's really fast, and the watch list, people really like the watch list. Because some people call it the stalker feature, but for me, I use it just because, I like to hang out with Matthew, I like to hang out with Bobby Joe. There's a list of people that I like to hang out with, so I put them on my list.
And it's great though. It's like if you don't like someone, you could block them and they can't join your hangout. So
exactly. So this is. It's not like it's not like you're gonna have people joining your hangouts that you wouldn't want. Because like when Lucas comes online, it says into a hangout, it says Lucas is hanging out. Do you want to join? You click join. It's the same thing as staring at your list all the time. It's a true stalker would be staring at the list all the time, watching.
I like how Brian knows what a true stalker would do. Brian has
but he's got a point there. You can't really say that it's stalkerish when a real stalker would do it in different ways and still get the same result anyways. It's more like it's taking the stalker out of it, because people that wouldn't normally be stalking a page might be more enticed to jump in.
Yeah, and you, if you look at
stalking tool.
Well, yeah, but one thing too is if you look at it, it's kind of like, let's say your Gtalk, your Gtalk
is more stalkerish because anyone can IM,
Yeah. Yeah, you see someone comes online, you say, hey, do I want to chat with that person or not? This is a lot of the same feature. Before Hangouts, like you had to go onto their wall. Did they share that Hangout with you to be able to get in there? Now, if you don't want people to join your Hangouts, either block them or make your Hangout a limited Hangout.
Right. Well, but the thing with that though is anyone can go public at any time. But I hear what you're saying.
And I think that's something that Google really needs to look into, because that's something that with an extension we can't fix. I think that the one thing we could do is in the extension, and I'm not putting out what is going to be in the next one, but one thing we could do is say, have a little notification that pops up, says this person just made this Hangout public. Something like that could be, I think a really good feature of this Hangout's now public, and this person made it public, because I think that would make people more accountable, because sometimes people just start popping in when it was a private conversation.
Yeah, hey, for sure. I'm sorry, I was distracted. We have a lot of surprises on the show, like I said. A lot of things to get to. Adam J. Cohen is here. Welcome to Hangout Conversations, another surprise. It's an action-packed show.
Hey.
I like your fedora. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I apologize if my connection's a little slow or buggy, but I'm just really glad to be here. with you guys right now.
Yeah, you're a little frozen right now, but we can hear you, which is what's important. We were talking about a lot of different things. Let's just put a pause. I have a lot to ask Lucas and Brian, and we have a whole show afterwards with the audience. But Adam, actually, you are the creator of the first ever unofficial Google Plus Film Festival, and I definitely came to know that at the beginning of Google Plus. You had plans and ideas for it, and we went back and forth on it, and I know you've worked with a lot of different people on it. I'm a director myself. I've made some films. I was in a film festival. I know what it's like to have that experience, and it's really cool to control it. It's a lot of work. It's just like this show and any other thing. It's a hard job to organize all that. So I commend you for doing that. What was your inspiration? Why Google Plus? Why what? Okay, we lost Aldridge Cohen for just a second. I believe his answers would have been amazing, and they still will be when he joins us next time when he's back. So just remember everything that I just asked him, and then we'll cut it, and Bobby Joe will have to edit it together. No, shoot. So Lucas, I'm going to ask you another Peter McDermott douchey question. Do you use 10W30 or Dapper Dan to do your hair? Even though I said you just got out of the shower, I don't know what.
Say 10W30 for fun.
I think that's something to do with car grease. I don't know.
Yeah, it's WD-30, but
well, it's Peter McDermott. We can't. He's drinking beer and stuff. Unless I don't know what 10W.
That's cool.
Yes. So you took a shower.
Did you guys ask Brian to demo like some of the cool freaking analog gear he's got lying around? I think that would be really
Oh, I didn't even think
Dude,
about...
he's got some like crazy stuff hanging around. Like seriously.
This is the machine guy. Well,
yeah,
hello,
look
at your freaking setup. It looks like you're in like a backstage dressing room to go on to the stage and perform. You got the clothes hanger. You got the dividers up. Adam is back. Cool. This is anything can happen. Hangout conversations. That's why you're here. Adam, welcome back. Well, I hope we don't lose transmission again. It happens. Are you calling from a far distance, or where are you located right now?
I'm in rural western North Carolina, and I'm also uploading films for the festival that's happening this Saturday, and so that could be what's causing our problems. I'm going to go ahead and jump in on your question just because we've got it, and you can always give me a call if we drop out again. Daria Musk was the inspiration for this film festival. When I first joined Google Plus at the end of July, I jumped in and saw this tremendous photography community already here, and I thought, hey, where's all the filmmakers? So I looked and there was nothing. I'm like, okay, well, let's see what's going on. And I saw what Daria was doing. I'm like, wow, this is great. She's building this community with musicians and working with people, and she had this great response. I thought, well, let's bring the filmmakers into Google Plus, and hopefully there's some hidden filmmakers here in Google Plus, and let's just kind of showcase their work. So I said, I put it there on August 1st and said, hey, what do you guys think about a film festival? And I was really impressed with the overall encouragement and response that I got from the Google Plus community, especially because at the time I had very few followers, and I'd post something and maybe I'd get a comment or two or maybe a share, and I posted this thing about the film festival, and it just kind of, for me at the time it was big. It was like 40 shares and comments, and I thought, wow, this is great. So I put it out there and said, let's give it a go. And it was actually a little slow going at first, obviously, because Google Plus was new. The filmmaker community that I'm involved with outside of Google Plus wasn't really involved yet. And Google Plus was kind of like, they were like, well, what's this Google Plus? I'm not ready for it. So I asked for submissions, and
filmmakers.
Exactly.
Yes. They're
totally stuck there. Yeah. But Facebook's been around for a long time. Google Plus is brand new, and it's like I was the first one to say, I don't have time for another social networking site. I just finally figured out Facebook.
And then they changed it on you.
So yeah, exactly. But what ended up happening is Ryan Crow, who ultimately started Sociology Plus, came in and said, this is an amazing idea. Why is this not something that's really gone huge. And he came in and he brought in some other folks that really kind of helped get the word out and kind of help with some of the organization and just some various things that really made a difference. And it was kind of a slow, ongoing process.
So how many films
I really
total,
wanted to.
I was just asked, how many films totally did you look at, and like what, how many did you have to watch? Did you watch? I mean, did you do it all yourself, watching it and judging it, and like what was the process?
The process, I probably had I had over 100 submissions. I'm not exactly sure how many over. I was the preliminary screener. Made sure that there were enough people, enough quality in the films that were being submitted to want to represent filmmakers on Google+. And then from there, I brought in my wife and creative everything to kind of help put a second set of eyeballs on everything. And she's actually going to be the one who's going to be hosting the festival. She's a lot better on screen,
right,
basically.
You're doing okay.
Exactly. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I feel like maybe I'm going in a little too strong, but that's all right.
No, I mean, like, you have a lot to cover,
she helped as well.
That's cool. So what? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say she helped with some of the judging as well, and then together we got a chance to talk about it. And initially, I wanted to bring in some other folks to actually have like a contest, but I wasn't happy with the. I wanted some really strong judges to make this real instead of just a few people who like to watch films. I never got that. And I didn't have a lot of time because, as you know, this kind of thing takes up a lot of time.
It does, yeah.
So I said, the first one, everybody wins. And that's why I shared everybody who had submitted, who had a Google Plus profile that I was aware of. I said, this was all about getting filmmakers out there and building the filmmaker community. So anybody who submitted that I had their profile, I shared that circle, and that's kind of what my main goal is. Let's continue to build this build awareness and the community, because as you know, it takes a lot of people to make a good quality film, and
it even takes
we all want to work together.
It takes a lot of people to make a crappy film too. So it's the same
that is
respect.
True.
I mean, people still had to wake up and what's his face? Patton Oswalt has a great skit about the deathbed, the bed that eats people, which is the name of an actual movie from the 70s. That people woke up, they went to craft services, and they shot this thing called Deathbed, the bed that eats people, and people worked on this. So, it takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of work to make film festivals, to put it all together, the editing, the exporting, the hours, every time you make, there's one little mistake in a film or exporting it's like a whole hours could go by. Like, there's just so much going on that you want to get right. But no, it's appreciated that you're doing this film festival. And you made Lucas is part of the music community, and Daria Musk is a big, she's been on the show. She's the big, music person as far as like being known for doing long hangout concerts. And the music community was really strong, and the art community is really strong. We're gonna have another art surprise later, but the filmmakers, like you said, filmmakers, actors, and kind of writers too. The three of them are not as represented or as known about, and I think that this film festival is going to help and be part of it. And it's great to have you on the show, and I think it's going to move things along pretty well. So you want to give us details? So it's Saturday in 2 days from now, on December 3rd, and you want to talk about time and how people can check it out and watch it?
Yeah, the best place to watch the festival is at vidcastnetwork.com, and that's I'll give you the link here in the chat. And everything will be live streamed there. Keith Barrett is going to help with all that. He's got the expertise that I don't, and I decided
and he works at Disney.
I probably couldn't. He does. I think he's the IT tech guy at Disney, and so it just seemed like a really good mesh. I met with him last night, and we really enjoyed our conversation and kind of did a rough a rough run through of the festival, and I think it's going to be really good. But that would be the place to see everything. In addition, if you go to the unofficial Google Plus Film Festival page, I'm going to be posting chats as well. I'm sorry, discussions, as well as I'm going to have links for those that may be able to connect their computers to high-def television so that they can watch the films at higher definition than we can live streaming. Because obviously this is a visual media, and
Is it taking place
there's a lot of effort.
Is it actually taking place in a Hangout or some other medium?
Well, what it's going to do is I've actually got 3 blocks of films, and each block is going to be live streamed. The films are actually going to be live streamed at the vidcastnetwork.com. In addition, people will have the link shown to them so that they can watch those films. They're going to be on Vimeo because in my opinion, Vimeo is probably the best place to put high-quality films. Sorry, Google, YouTube has a little way to go, and I even played around a little bit with the video on Google Plus, and it's not quite there yet. So.
Right.
Maybe in the future.
Right, yeah, for sure. Hangouts, like the quality of the video in Hangouts is not necessarily going to be up to par to play films, I think.
Right.
I mean, it would be cool to do it in the Hangouts, but there is a quality issue. So, I mean, so people are going to literally watch Vimeo, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they're going to watch Vimeo, and Keith is going to stream those on his site as well. After the film's streamed, then we're going to come in with the Hangout with the filmmakers. And that's when the audience can interact with the chat, very much like looks like the folks are doing here and on your site. And they can ask questions to the filmmakers, and then the mediator will then repeat those questions to the filmmakers so that everyone can watch the interaction with the filmmakers. Very much like a film festival where the filmmakers are in front of the audience and people raise their hands and say, yeah, I've got a great question, tell me what the meaning of this particular shot was, or I loved what you did, that kind of thing.
Right. Usually the questions are, how much money did it cost you? What did you shoot on? Those are the two big ones.
Less than $1 million, or more than $1 million, and
I think
on a camera.
Is it fair to say that every single film in this festival was shot for not just under $1 million, but under $20,000 at the most? I can't even imagine.
I don't think so. I don't think that's a fair assumption. There's some really good stuff out there.
Good.
I
just because
don't
something's good doesn't mean that a lot of money was spent on it.
It was expensive, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
definitely.
Do you have anybody that would do like kind of like the photographers are doing, or even what I'm doing with Tara now, and kind of providing an educational aspect of it rather than just asking the filmmakers questions? Maybe like because that's one thing you can use Hangouts for, even if you can't broadcast like very high quality video through it. You're kind of capped by bandwidth, and if the audio is prioritized, the video is going to suffer regardless. People that are good at Final Cut and like showing like techniques that they use or stuff like that would be really cool to see, because I've gotten so much out of watching like people like Scott Jarvie use Lightroom. That kind of stuff is invaluable to me. It would be cool to see that from filmmakers as well.
Actually, one of the things that we're working on is exactly that. We're going to have a bunch of filmmakers get together and talk about various subjects specific to filmmaking, and we want to have some experts to kind of help lead the discussion each month, or it may be twice a month. We're still kind of working out the details of that. It'll be like, okay, we're going to cover editing, or we're going to cover, maybe we're going to cover sound, how to deal with actors, or get some directors to talk about
writing
that.
ideas,
and
write a screenplay and inform your ideas.
How to storyboard correctly,
all of the above. I think all those are great ideas, and we actually had one preliminary hangout with some filmmakers, and we're going to make an announcement at the festival to kind of invite all the filmmakers to start this process because, again, I think it's all about building this community. Google Plus is a great place to do so, and personally, I mean, my expertise is producing.
Right.
I'm not the guy behind the camera. I'm the guy that hires the camera person, hires the director. Maybe I have the creative idea, and then I find the writers to work on those ideas to make everything a lot better than I can do with the words that I'm capable of writing.
If you guys need anybody to help with like the composing sound aspect of it, I'd definitely throw my 2 cents, because that's most of what I do now is composing for television and film, and coming up with themes for characters and how to structure coming up with an actual soundtrack for things, or even for a short film.
Yes.
Because then you could start bridging the two mediums together, and I think a lot of the gold on Google Plus is that, like how a photographer and a musician can get together and how they can work together in new ways, and really showing the activity between the two, and I think that's really interesting for people even outside of those mediums to see how that's dealt with is very cool as well.
Hey, real quick, Brian, I want to get Brian in here real quick before 1 second, Adam. Brian, is there anything I know that you and Robert are working on a lot of different things. Is there anything related to art or different communities that you can or want to talk about that you're working on, or ideas or anything like that related to, or not at this time?
Yeah, I mean, we do have one idea, but it's not one that we can really talk about yet.
Okay, cool, no problem.
But
Just wanted to
love
bring
to
you
it.
in. And Brian actually was asking about amateur filmmakers. And I know a lot of people are doing. There's a lot of amateur photography. So I mean, it's hard to say who is an amateur photographer or filmmaker and who is a professional one. Is it one that gets paid that's a professional one? I mean, there's that debate too. But I think everybody has their own style. But so as far as like the filmmakers in the circle, the ones that submitted, would you say they were a mix of like different levels, basically, probably? Some that went to film school?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I got the range of everything from like really super professional folks to people that, just did something at the 48-hour film festival and wanted to submit. And I looked at everything, and I looked at everything fairly. And, I had a couple of submissions from some young kids that there were actually 3 that come to mind. And I was really impressed with them, and I really had to, remove the fact that these were kid submissions, and I had to judge it only on the work and say, okay, can this hold themselves solely by the caliber of their work? And they were really close into making it, and I only had room for about an hour and a half, 2 hours worth of films to program.
How many films did you in total?
I ended up accepting a total of 18 films, and there's going to be 6 films per block, and I've actually got almost 100% participation from the filmmakers. I've heard from all the filmmakers but one, and most of them have committed, which I'm really, really, really impressed and thankful for, especially to the European folks who are going to be, showing up at 2 and 3 o'clock their time in the morning.
So you do. So it's not just American. You have international films too. Then that's cool. You have.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've got a Malaysian filmmaker who actually lives in Japan. And he's got a brilliant film that was, I believe it was accepted. I don't know if it won any awards at one of the Venice Film Festivals. Cool. I've got a guy from Mexico who I thought it really paired well with another film. And it was just a really kind of great, strong statement piece that I enjoyed. I've got a few folks from Europe. And it just all over the place.
And are these? Would you say your blocks are thematic, or they're kind of mixed up? Like, was it possible to do something like that?
I tried to do my best with that. Each block has a little bit of a theme, although it's not as solid of a theme as I guess I would.
Tribeca, like in your face kind of thing, which is fine.
Not yet.
Not really. Okay, see, and as a filmmaker, and I've done some film festival type stuff of my own too, I don't know how I feel about thematic stuff versus a mix of stuff. I think that it's because I don't think each piece of art was meant to be seen from beginning to end. I don't think the filmmakers thought about what came before it and what came after it and how that affects it too. Because sometimes something that's not as funny is funnier if it follows something that's funny and things like
in
that.
Context.
In context and drama. A lot of films that you might see alone would be better or worse versus being mixed up. So that's always an interesting thing to play with. And you never really, you know how, like if somebody sat through something really long and boring, in a festival, and then they sat through something that might be slower but really good, they might not be appreciative because they're already drawn out. Their attention is gone. So it's a tricky thing with programming and accepting and seeing how things play with each other. And it's a whole art form in itself, making a film festival and making it all work. So anything you want to say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about the three different blocks that I have. I think I've got a good mix and a good variety, and I think each block is entertaining and holds up on their own. And I did have the audience in mind, and I was thinking if this were a film festival in a city where people would come in and they'd buy a ticket to sit in a theater for a while, this is how I would want to program these particular blocks so that they could decide, oh, this one may be a little bit heavier, this one might be a little bit lighter, this is a little bit more of a variety, that kind of thing. So I feel really good about what programming that I do have.
Cool. So Saturday, December 3rd, it's Vidcast, vidcastnetwork.com. And you said the first block of films start at what time? Eastern, Pacific?
It starts at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Eastern time, and I do have a link to a post for you, and let me grab that.
And there is the unofficial G Plus page, Film Festival page. Cool. I'm looking forward to it. And will this be just live broadcast, or is it going to be recorded and people can see it at a later time, or no? Because of the filmmakers.
We are going to record this, and it should be available for people to watch later as well. Obviously, they won't be able to interact with the filmmakers there, but the plan is to have everything recorded and rebroadcast so that people, say in Europe, can go ahead and see some of the films as well. The post that I just put there, that's the post with all the information as well as a link to all the filmmakers.
Okay.
And let me give you...
Yeah, we'll share that link after the show, because the outside world can't see that chat room right now, but we'll get it out to them. Very cool. No, I appreciate you joining us. Let's do real quick a G4, and everyone could do this G4 to chime in. It was specifically for film. Do you have a preference? And it's G4 is just this or that kind of thing. Narrative fiction or documentaries? Do you have a preference between if you had to choose one? I know it's a tough choice. Docs for Lucas.
Documentaries. Yeah.
Docs for Brian. Wow. What about? I would choose narrative fiction for me, but. And so he's like, I can't choose between those two. What are you kidding me? He's like, that's like Sophie's choice, and it's like I can't do it. Okay. You don't have an answer? There's no wrong answer.
Oh, for me, I personally I have I prefer narrative, although I do like doc as well. So
right.
A lot of it, just kind of depends on the story of the film.
Cool. Netflix or Hulu? Do you guys have a preference over Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix. I don't use Hulu.
No one uses Hulu Plus or Amazon? Okay, cool.
I use Amazon Prime now.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
I quit
my Netflix.
It's a little tricky with Amazon Prime. I feel like there's no search function. You have to literally go through each one. Like there's.
Yeah, it's not as easy of a browse
as
the old one.
Sundance and Tribeca. This is more for Adam. Maybe I don't think it's worth spending too much money on the big festivals. Would you? How do you feel? Do you think they're worth entering, or do you think it's a waste of money to submit to all the big top festivals, that especially if you're a new filmmaker and no one knows who you are?
I think the most important thing when you're submitting to film festivals is understand what the film festival is looking for. You may have a great film, and it's just not a Sundance piece. It may be it may be for a more niche festival. And so it's really important to understand what the festivals are looking for. It's really easy to spend a lot of money on film festival submissions, and if you don't understand what the festivals are looking for, you're throwing your money away. So that I would be just cautious on that. And if you don't get into a high-level film festival, it doesn't mean anything. It just means that the programmers didn't feel that your film fit in with their programming.
Right. Well, I would actually say as well, I think like you said, a program or agenda, these film festivals all have their own agenda, have their own people that they do have alumni, they do have, films that are promised that to be in the festival that take up spots and things like that. There's a lot of politics with film festivals. Some film festivals are more honorable than other ones. There's so many of them. I've had my experiences with them, and I did get to be in one over the summer, which was very local in Brooklyn, which was very nice. Okay, is there a favorite film festival that you've attended, online or off? Have any of you guys been to a film festival before, Lucas or Brian?
No.
I was actually performed in a 48-hour film festival last year. I was an actor, and if you go to my blog, you can see my video.
What was that?
What was the name of that? What was that movie like? What was the character? Is it a spoiler, or do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I was actually the main character in it, and
cool.
we what we ended up doing is, I guess for people that don't know how a 48 film festival works, is they gave us a prop, they gave us a name for a character, they gave us an occupation, they gave us a list of things that had to be in the show, and so we then had 48 hours to write and film, edit, and get it all done, and then submit it before the 48 hours was up. And so we ended up doing that, and if you go to Bite of Tech, BITE of tech.com, you can go, and at the bottom there's one that has our YouTube video of that.
BITE?
Yeah, like a bite out of cheese. Like that.
Brian loves his cheese.
Biteoftech.com.
Biteoftech.com. All right, that's cool. I'll be.
And if you look at my logo in there, it actually is cheese for the text that I made. So.
What about Adam? Is it hard for you to pick a festival that you had a really good experience? Maybe one that wasn't that big, that was lower key, that you recommend to at least attending?
I'm going to say, I went to South by Southwest. I think it was back in 2007, and I had an amazing experience there. I think they do so many things that are right. Their panels are amazing. The networking, the parties, and the films. Everything about South by Southwest is fantastic. And I didn't feel like it was so, hoity-toity that somebody like me could come in there and talk to somebody, and they'd be like, oh, and are you who are you with, and why should I be talking with you? Now, granted, this was 2007, and I haven't been back since. I've been to a number of other great festivals since then. I've been to a few not so great ones, which I won't name, but I'll say, talk to filmmakers, alumni that have shown at that festival. You can probably go to their Facebook page, and usually on the Facebook page I notice that people will post trailers and say, hey, our film is blah, blah, blah. Contact those people and say, hey, what was your experience? We were at Dragon Con this last September, and it was a really cool festival. It was, just I enjoyed my time there.
Down in Georgia?
Yeah, that was in Atlanta, Georgia, and that was a really cool festival. And they had some great, it was this total world that just you don't even think exists.
There's a lot of video games, right? It's big with video, like comics.
It's very much like Comic-Con in San Diego, Southern California.
Yeah.
But that was a great festival. Actually, we just had a really cool festival here in our hometown in Asheville, North Carolina. I was really impressed. It was a first-year festival, and they did some really good things. It's called the Asheville Cinema Festival, and I think 2-3 years down the line, this could be a really great festival.
Yeah,
so,
I think so too, and I'm looking forward to watching it. And I think even there's room for film series, like weekly film series, people like longer films, I'm sure, things like that, and more blocks, and maybe not just the festival, but I know it takes a lot of work, but maybe you could do like monthly or weekly or whatever comes, like one film every week or one film every month or whatever the case may be. Okay, Lucas. Lucas had to jump off real quick. He will join us in the post show. But I'd like to thank you, Adam, and maybe if you want to stick around, we're going to be in the second part of the show. And if people have questions from the audience about the festival, we're going to wrap things up and move to that show very shortly. Let's see. But Brian, thank you so much for joining us. We talked about a lot of things. Is there anything that we didn't cover? I know we were hoping to get a surprise from your girlfriend. And I froze there for
Well,
just a second.
we can have her. Yeah, we can have her.
We could have her on the
play
post show.
something for us.
Cool. She plays some
Yeah,
music.
in the post show.
I'd like to close the show with one more random question. Would you like 1, 2, 1, 3, or 4?
4.
4. There we go.
Oh, is
Share.
it Mike? Which are you asking me or?
Yeah, you. Yeah, Brian. You're the guest, man. Adam is a drop in. They're all awesome surprises. But what is this is a hockey story. What is the most exciting goal-scoring story that you scored the winning goal? You, Adam, I don't know if you heard earlier, but Brian's real life is like the Mighty Ducks. The story of that film, it's kind of like Brian's life, where the bad team got the best player and then they won the championship almost. So what was
the
goal?
most exciting?
Yeah, is our goal a cinematic or exciting? You scored the game-winning goal, or you scored 10 goals?
Yeah. Well, okay, so we went to nationals once when I was in high school, and when we were there, we got to play some of the best teams in the nation, of course, and we were a team from Boise where we only had 6 of us there. We had 5 players and a goalie, so we had 1 person on the bench, and we ended up when we were playing, we were playing against teams that had 10 people on the bench or more. And so we went out there and they expected us to lose very badly. So we went and played the first team from the Colorado team, and we beat them, I think 7-1. And I scored the first I think 5 or 6 points in like right away.
I scored 5 or 6 goals, or
yeah. So we went in there and my girlfriend's here. And so yeah, but we pretty much just right away I pretty much just from the center when they dropped the puck, took it and scored like within 5 seconds of the game starting, and just did that over and over again to them, and they were pretty shocked. And we went pretty far. We got 4th place in the nation that year, and so we were pretty.
Was your girlfriend there at the time? Was she your girlfriend then when that happened, or
no? She's a little bit younger than me. When I was in high school, she was.
You're like when I was winning the game. Hey, welcome. It's Brian's girlfriend. Hey, Laura, how are you? Welcome to the show. We're actually going to wrap this up and move to Conversations Plus. Look very nice, and I hear that you may or may not have a banjo. I don't know if that's a true story.
She's like, a true story.
She's like, what? Maybe Brian will let. I guess if Brian won't sing on the show, you playing the banjo is probably better than him singing, right?
No, I don't think so. He's a pretty good voice.
He's a pretty good voice. All right.
Yeah, sing something.
Brian,
I'm not going to sing something for him right now.
Brian refuses.
I already said that. I'm not going to sing.
Brian would not even sing in private. So anyway.
No, he sings all the time.
That's what I thought.
For you.
Anyway, thank you for joining us on Hangout Conversations at Rappaport. Stay tuned for Conversations Plus. December 3rd, Saturday, is the unofficial G Plus Film Festival. Adam J. Cohen is the producer, and it's on vidcastnetwork.com. You can look at that. Search for the G Plus Unofficial Film Festival on G Plus Search. There's also Bite of Tech. You can see Brian Aldridge in a 48-hour film festival in the main role. Learn more about his cheese habits. We love his cheese habits. And maybe see a video of him singing somewhere on the internet. I don't know if that exists. Lucas Johnson, we miss you. Thank you for stopping by. More surprises coming up. Conversations Plus next week will be live Thursday, December 8th with artist Aaron Wood and some other surprises. So join us for that. That should be a good show. Matt Rappaport, Brian Aldridge, Lucas Johnson, number 2, Bobbi Joe Woods, Laura, and Adam J. Cohen. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you for checking us out. We're here live every week, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You should go out. You should start your own cheese page for Brian Aldridge and dedicate it to him. That's what I recommend. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a good night. Stay warm.